Okay, good evening everybody, welcome back to FTRL. This is SPY here, and I am so glad to be back once again on commentary duty for FTRL. I mean, I've just, I've not been commentating that often this season. I've just had a few weeks off. It's not like I've been banned or anything. I've not made any unfortunate remarks. At least nothing that's been broadcast. But anyway, it's week 7 of GT2. It's Thursday night once again, and this week we're at Watkins, Glen. So we're going to be qualifying on the short course and then moving to the full course for the 3 sprint races. So after a few endurance and mixed weeks, we're back on the sprints, which will definitely be to the benefit of some drivers and maybe slightly to the detriment of others. I'm just going to skip away from Zom just in case he thinks I'm talking exclusively about him. So Watkins Glen, always an interesting one. Some people who find it really take to it really well. A lot of people really like this track, others not so fond. As for me, I'm fairly ambivalent. I'm not saying I take it or leave it, I do quite like it, but definitely other tracks I prefer. But yeah, we'll see how we go. So we're straight into qualifying 2 this evening, because we've only got 12 drivers. Good evening, Beach. How you doing, mate? Good to have you along. Hope all is well. Yeah, so only 12 drivers this week, so we are straight into quali 2 for the F1 style qualifying. So it will be 1 round of qualifying on the medium tyres, just 5 minutes, with the bottom 3 then eliminated, or bottom 4 eliminated, quite possibly. We might just be looking at bottom 3 actually. And then it will be into the final qualifying round with quali 3 on the soft tyres to determine the final starting order. So we see Andy go maybe slightly wide there, he might be okay. As Joe Burns is first across the line with a 107.9, everybody else following in behind him. Nobody yet. No one else yet hitting the 107s. Oh, Bread is in there, so we've got Bread joining us this week. He is back from the Bread. And straight in to P3 for now, which he will hope is good enough, although there will still be a couple of laps to go. Only a short lap here at the short course, 107s, 108, so these guys will all get at least a couple more laps in. So very tight at the top at the minute. Less than a hundredth covering, sorry, less than a tenth covering first to third as Bread makes his way round the chicane. So at the minute, Joe Burns in the lead. He's been improving week on week, getting back to the old Joe Burns, and really been challenging for the wins. So he's currently P1, Oblivion really not that far behind. He's going slow this lap, just setting himself up for another lap. He's slightly in the way, should be okay. Derek improves, as does Andy, so Andy's up to P4, Derek up to P7. Going to need to get inside at least the top 9, I believe. Okay, so we don't just have 12 drivers tonight, so that's good news. We do have some stand-ins, so obviously they're not qualifying, we'll be starting at the back, so we have some stand-ins from GT1. So tonight we're going to have Graham racing for Jonesy, Tom is racing for Mikey, who I believe is on holiday. He is indeed. And it's also his birthday, I believe. Happy birthday, Mikey H. Everybody loves Mikey, we all love Mikey. Happy birthday, Mike. Right, we are not far from the end of this qualifying session. I'll be keeping a close eye on these guys at the back, including Oblivion. He's currently P3, so he should be okay. Same goes for Andy. These might not get another lap. Derek sets a 108.3. That puts him up to P6. That will be good enough. Oblivion, I think they're all just going to make it around for another lap. Royston and James both into the 107, so a lot of these guys are now in the 107s, although Joe Burns still with the fastest lap of 107.9. Jadon's given up on this lap. He evidently thinks he's done enough. He's probably right. Oh, it's pretty close. If we're losing 3 here, then yeah, Zom is quite a way off the pace. So Goose and Odon have got some work to do as well, but after that, Derek, who's in P9, is just 4/10 off the lead. So that's a 108.3 that we originally thought would probably be good enough, and Derek is down on this lap. Somebody's wide in the background. Who is going to be making it through? Here comes Derek. I'm going to keep an eye on him. And that is a 108.334, not quite good enough for an improvement. Odon coming around the final couple of corners now. Where's Sir Goose? Sir Goose is coming out to finish his lap, but it is not going to be an improvement. Sir Goose is going to be out. How about Odon? This is good. Is it good enough? 106, 107, it is not good enough. Andy has a penalty. Oblivion crosses the line as well. Jadon with a penalty too. So the bottom 3 is on Sir Goose and Odon. That McLaren probably not well suited to this track. Probably be a little bit better suited to the full circuit, I would say. So at least he gets a chance to have a break and recharge and get ready for the race. So 3 sprint races tonight. I hope you will stick around for all of them. We've already got 13, 14 people in the chat. Excellent news. Welcome along. Please do hit the like button if you wouldn't mind, and drop us a note in the chat to say hello. So while we wait for Q3, let's have a look at the current standings. Driver standings first. So FTRL Autism Andy leads the way, 209 points. So this is a very, very close season, but Andy has pulled out of a bit of a gap in recent weeks, but that was somewhat dented last week. So Andy only picking up 24 points in last week's endurance race around Dragon Trail, compared to James behind him, who picked up 42, finishing in 2nd place. So Jadon is on 185 in 2nd place. So it's a gap. It's definitely not an insurmountable gap with 4 weeks to go. We are here this week, and then we are in Brazil, Interlagos week 8, then off to Mount Panorama for an endurance race, which could be a real shake-up. It really could, in week 9, and then finishing in Japan for week 10. So Jadon's managed to get to 2nd place in the championship without winning a single race, which is certainly an achievement. In fact, the wins have been really, really well spread out. You know, in GT2 this season, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 separate race winners. Biggles is not looking forward to Australia. I'm always looking forward to Australia, Biggles. Mount Panorama has been the scene of some of my best races. And I only hope the Nissan just doesn't fall apart at the top of the hill by the time we get there, but we'll see. It's a few weeks away for now, so we will focus our attentions back on the US of A, as Glen leads us out on the soft tyres for Quali 3. Now, we've seen in other sprint races this season, sprint qualifyings, some people's performance shifts dramatically from the softs to the mediums and vice versa. Some people are better on the softs, others are not. So this could all change. And remember that out of all of these drivers, there is only 3 or 4 tenths between them. So briefly back to the standings. Jadon second on 185. Derek sitting qualifying out for some reason. I'm not sure why. Derek, did you just not get back in time? I mean, we usually do have a top 8, but I was under the understanding we were having a top 9 tonight, so we're only having 2 qualifyings. As Glen nearly loses it on turn 1. I don't know whether that'll be a penalty. Fortunately, the short track means... Oh, Andy has got a penalty. I was going to say, fortunately, the short track means you get another few goes. Lennon, good evening. How are you, sir? Let's see what sort of times we're getting. So yeah, I'm trying desperately. I keep distracting myself. I'm trying desperately to get through these driver standings. Andy, 209 points. Jade on 185. Glen, just 5 points behind on 180. And then the other challenges, I would say now, Mikey's still technically in the mix on 158, but with him being away this week, I don't think he's going to be in the picture. So we do have Derek in P4 on 165, and Joe Burns, who is improving all the time, also on 165 as our top AM driver. So we got some serious times into the 107s now. Jadon is top at the minute, 107.3. Red really close behind. Oh, but he's not going to get a lap time this time, as he heads straight into the wall. Right turn for Bread, and he's going to have to sit there and wait now until a gap presents itself. Oh, there's no gap there. Let's Nobby know it. Oh, Nobby nearly came with him. Bread waits for everyone else to go through. And Glen's at the front, but he has now got himself a second penalty, so he's going to have to serve that this lap and then crack on next. Let's see where Andy is, because he couldn't set a competitive time due to his penalty last time. Glen's going to slow down. Andy's going to try and pick a bit of slipstream up off his teammate before he sweeps past. Into the corner. The Porsche does look a bit of a handful, so to speak, because I think the Porsche is a bit of a handful everywhere, to be honest. I respect the people who chose it. I stayed away from it. That's a bit wide from Andy. Are we going to see a time into the 107s here? We are. It's not. It's P5. It'll be once again improvement. A full 6 tenths up to James on pole. Just a couple more laps left. Owen's chimed into the chat to say Bread's last race was Ftrl was also a Watkins, Glen. I don't know how you remember that, but good facts. I appreciate the facts. I'm just checking. We have, yeah, good. We have got Fever in the chat, or we did initially. So good. We've got Owen in the chat for the facts and Fever in for the numerous corrections that will be needed throughout the night on race rules, standings, what is going on in the race in general, and everything else. He's an excellent producer. Oh, Bread is purple. We've got a sign in the chat saying it's not a good track for the Porsche. I can fully understand why. Now, Brad's only going to get this lap, quite possibly, so he's got to make it count, and at the moment, that's exactly what he's doing. Everybody else just coming over the line to start their final lap. No improvements here. At the minute, it's James, it's Bread, and then it's Royston in P3, or he was. Oblivion just nipping in ahead of him with a 107.5. It's Aaron. Hello, Aaron. Not a problem, mate. Not a problem at all. If you can get your relatives to tune in and give us a like, that'll be all that I need. So Bread didn't improve in the end. He lost some time in the last sector, and that is him done. So he will not be taking pole. At the minute, it's still with James in the Nissan. As we said earlier, of course, still yet to pick up his first win of the season. Oh, and he won't be improving this time because he's gone very wide there. If anybody else got the pace. Oblivion's towards the back. We're going to go back towards the front. It's Joe Burns. As we said, Burns was fastest before, but that soft tyre on the left front has been absolutely shredded over 5 laps. So I doubt we're going to see an improvement here, and indeed we are not. Anybody will be hard pressed to improve, actually, given the tyre wear, and it doesn't look like we're going to see any. Got a couple more to come over the line, but they're not setting a good pace. So that is going to be our finishing order. Jadon, P1, Pole, Bread P2, and Oblivion in 3rd. We will then have Royston, good qualifying for Royston, Joe Burns in P5, Andy in P6, Glen P7, Norby P8, and then Derek, who forgot to qualify in Q3, will be in 9th. And then the rest. Oh, we've got a Pagani in the lobby. Oh, he's in for Carl, of course he is. Good, good. So the GT1 drivers, of course, as always, will be using the tyre compound up, shall we say. So all our regular GT2 drivers will have the choice of medium tyres in 2 of the races and then soft tyres for 1 of the races. The GT1 drivers will then be on the hard tyres for 2 of the races and the medium tyres for 1. Aaron's telling me it's 4 out in Q2, so Derek was out. That wasn't what they went in the race chat, but never mind, it's all worked out in the end. So, what do we think? While we load up the long version of Watkins Glen, there it is. Who do we think is going to take the first race win? It's all a little bit up in the air, I think. We've got James in P1, and obviously he's got the pace, and he's been putting in some good performances recently. But, as we've been saying, still yet to get a win this season. We've got our league leader in Andy, in P6, and then a few guys in between, and there's going to be a mixture of medium and soft tyres up there, I reckon. And then, of course, we have Graham, Tom, and Pagani at the back. Probably starting on the hard tyres, but you never know, they may choose to use their mediums. I can see Graham is starting on the hards. Everybody's saying Tom's going to win. I mean, yeah, probably. Remember, he has dropped down from GT1 to racing GT2 tonight, so there is a rule I'm introducing just now which says that once per race anybody else is liable and is able to just punt him off with no penalties. So that is now an official rule for this race, so please all do enforce that. Beach says, let's be honest, he'll probably take all 3. Well, he didn't manage to last week in GT1. He got denied by Ross by 12 thousandths of a second, as I'm sure we all recall. So there's hope for us all yet, somewhat. I mean, in all honesty, we know how much pace Tom has got. But in all honesty, he puts in the practice, he puts in the hours and the miles as well. You'd always see him in a practice lobby, so you really can't deny it. But it's GT2, we're not here to talk about Tom. Let's talk about Derek. Derek in his new house, with his new internet connection. Is that going to bring him a benefit? Who knows? Change of surroundings might do him good. Glenn's been really good, really consistent throughout this season. Maybe not pulled out quite enough of the top results that would see him, you know, right up there. But he's P3, so in the championship, so absolutely everything to play for. I'll be really interested to see how Andy goes here. And I'm also pretty interested to see Royston and Bread starting on the soft tyres. Whereas doesn't look like James is in a minute. Okay, everybody in the chat was calling a T. Smith win. Everybody is now calling for him to be punted off at least once during this race. So let's see what we get. Let's see if the long course brings Owen a bit more benefit in the McLaren. It was always a brave choice, the McLaren, for this season, but he's put in some really good drives in it, and he has had the pace on a lot of the tracks, so wouldn't rule him out. Nope. Just Nobby game reset there, and I think maybe killing Sir Goose while he was at it. I still love Nobby's car. Fantastic job. Come on then, I want some proper predictions. Leaving aside any GT1 drivers, who do we think is going to win? Give me your best guess. Aaron's not calling a winner, but he's calling a massive accident at the chicane on lap 1. So, at this rate, looks like it might be caused by Nobby. Well, we'll see. Alright, here we go. Standing start as always. Let's see if we get any false starts. Carl is not racing tonight, so he should be okay. And now Aaron is backing Joe Burns to get his first win back racing. Starting from P5. Let's see what happens. James is going to lead us off. Go. Oh, good start from Brett in the Porsche. James is going to try and keep ahead. I think he's got the run, actually. Yeah, Oblivion's looking up the outside, and Royston on the inside as they go 3 wide into Zone 1, and somehow they've all made it round. Oblivion gets pushed slightly wide, but they're all through. James is away into the lead by 8/10 of a second. Everybody else looks to be safely around Turn 1 as we head up the hill for the first time to the chicane. Graham is currently at the back. Pagani is just making his way past Sir Goose, is being shuffled back. Zom, Odon, T. Smith's already up to P10. We're going to head back to the front for the chicane. James is going to hit it first. He's got some clear air. Everybody else piles in together. Oh, and it looks like... Are we okay? Oh, somebody's been shuffled back. It's Zom. Everybody's made it round. Royston has fully committed himself, and it is their PS Playmates 1-2 at the moment. And Royston has come flying up. He's on the soft tyres, remember. Jadon is on the mediums. These two could well look to help each other round here. Oblivion now in P3. As Joe Burns looks to challenge against Andy. And holds position. And immediately Royston has got the run up the inside and is looking for the lead. Oh, there's a bit of contact. Oh my god. These two have come together before. Oh, we've lost Brett and we've lost Graham. Oh dear. Oh, I don't know what's happened there. We missed it. Graham's almost at the back. Brett is very much more at the back. Oh dear. And then, so we've got our front three, Royston, James and Oblivion. Joe Burns currently P4, Andy in 5th, T. Smith has made his way all the way up to 6th. He is on the medium tyres for this first race, so no surprise to see Tom up there. Glen currently 7th, Derek in 8th, Nobby in 9th, Odon is 10th, and we've got a challenge going on in the background. As Zom, Graham and Pagani are all looking interested going into turn 1. Ooh, Pagani cuts the nose off Zom. Nicely done. He is into P12. So Goose there P11, and then Odon has picked up a penalty. We need a bit of time before he serves it. We're going to head back up the order now. And Royston and Jadon for now reasonably secure in 1 and 2. Glen has got ahead of T. Smith. Can he make it stick? Tom's looking to go around the outside, a little bit of contact. Glen's got the inside line. Tom may get the faster run, but no. Glen's got in front, good move. Puts the brakes on Tom's progress slightly, as long as he can hold him off here. T. Smith looking back down the inside. Oh, Glen's held him off again. Good work from Glen. Oh, but he's very wide. Kicks up the dirt. Oh, he's still holding on. Excellent work from Glen there. Andy now P5. Phoebus said, been told the softs are hard. What? Oh, I didn't see the end of that message. I've been told the softs are hard to manage here. I thought Phoebus was just telling me the softs are hard, and I was getting very confused and slightly aroused. But we're okay. Alright, Oblivion is closed right into the back of James. Not really a surprise. The softs may be hard, but it looks like they're a lot quicker at this early stage of the race. There's a lot of sharp, both hard-braking, tight turns at Watkins Glen though, so may become a cause for concern later in the race. So Royston leads us around. James is doing his best to hold off Oblivion and maybe give his teammate a bit of a gap. Joe now looks to have cleared Andy and he's out of slipstream, so Joe Burns comfortable now in P4. Andy P5, and this battle between Glen and T. Smith recommences. And we've got Nobby Norris looming in the background as well. Nobby's got a fantastic run coming up there. He's got to within slipstream range. Tom getting held up slightly. He cuts the curve. He should be alright without a penalty there. Just about. He's all over the back of Glen. Here he comes again. Same corner as before, but this time he's got a much better run and takes P6. Bit further back, Covey lost. Odon slipped down to P14. Bread has made up 7 seconds on the pack. He's right back in touch halfway around lap 3, so certainly not all over for Bread yet. And it's Goose with a second penalty, so Bread is soon going to find himself. Oh, we've got Nobby Norris in the barrier. Oh dear. Nobby looks like got the foot down a little bit early. Coming up that hill, you can spin it out if you go wide. It's a shame for Nobby, but as Brett has just shown, relatively quick to get back into this fight. He's now into P13. Tom now starting to edge out a gap over Glen, although still only half a second. He'll have Andy in his sights next. And now Odon has slipped. Sorry, Jadon, sorry. James has slipped behind Oblivion. Pushing it right to the edge there. It's got to be difficult to stay in touch with the mediums, although he's still in slipstream range. Let's see if he can hang on to Oblivion's coattails through the chicane. You'll see here just how fast you have to take the chicane to keep up. Down into 4th, nice and smooth and controlled from Jadon. Not so much for Oblivion. That might be a penalty for Oblivion. James took it nice and easy there. Aaron says, Jadon racing on a brand new for the 2nd week in a row. A brand new what? Get your answers in the chat, everyone. A brand new what? What is James racing on a brand new? Could be anything. Oh, a brand... Oh, yeah. Don't be boring. Royston's lead is stable. We'll have to see what the lap times are like between him and Oblivion. Tyre wear is pretty much identical. Oh, T. Smith has closed in right to the back of Andy. Aaron, don't put me off. Whoa. Tom kicking the rear end out of the Genesis. Is it the Genesis? No, he's in the Nissan tonight. Oh, a brand new challenge for Tom. Seems to be taking to it pretty quickly. To be fair, the Nissan and the Genesis were reasonably similar. Both pretty quick cars. But for now, oh, he's really kicking it. He's lost him a little bit of time actually. Andy's starting to pull away. Glen still P7, Derek in P8. Pagani is comfortably ninth, but he has got a half-second penalty. Bread also has a penalty, as he's been challenged by Owen up the hill. Don't think that McLaren's going to have the pace, unfortunately. Yeah, the gap's actually growing slightly. So Odon will stick behind. See if he can get that place, if he can stay close enough, he'll get it in a few corners time. Oh, so goes P13, Graham 14th, and Nobby Norris is recovering. He's only a couple of seconds off the back, so it's not all over for Nobby yet. But meanwhile, his two teammates are close to the front, but Oblivion is running a lot faster than Royston at the moment. And now he's right on the back of him. Oblivion taking a much tighter line through that corner. Royston runs right to the outside though and gets a good run off it, stretches the gap back out to nearly 8/10. But then the next corner, Oblivion just fights back a little bit. James is not out of this. If he can hold on for another few laps, as you saw Andy getting very wide out of the corner there. If James, oh, what was that? I see more dust being kicked up. If James can hold on for another few laps, then tyres will start to come back towards him. So ideally, he wants these two to start battling a little bit. Fever saying the front left will be dead by the end on Royston. Oh yeah, it's not halfway yet. It's not actually that near halfway, but they do drop off a lot quicker obviously once they get a bit worn. So yeah, I think you're probably right, Fever. We're not even halfway through the race yet, so something to keep an eye on. Oblivion's going really, really well here. He's always had the pace this season. He's just found himself caught up in probably one too many incidents. Oh, hello. Speaking of which, that was very wide. Is that going to be worth a penalty? It is. So a half-second penalty for Oblivion. That may well bring him back into James's clutches. It'd be interesting to see just how much a penalty costs. It's not a long run, but you're still accelerating because you hit the penalty board. So 1.5 seconds goes down to about 6/10, nearly half second. So, an Oblivion very, very wide. He's misjudged the braking point, and here comes James. Is he going to be able to make the move down the inside into the corner? He's going to go late on the brakes. Hasn't quite got the grip to make it stick, and Oblivion stays ahead. That's caused him a bit of a moment, and that has allowed Royston to stretch out a 2-second lead. That'll make you feel a lot more comfortable. Oh, well, Andy appears to have fought off T. Smith and pushed him backwards a bit for good measure somehow. So we missed that. Tom is back down to P7 behind Glen. Interesting. So halfway through the race, with an 8-second gap to the lead and 6 cars in front of him, are we safe yet in saying that we're not going to see a T. Smith win? How much money would you put on it? Derek's P8, he's keeping tabs as well, which is good. Pagani P9, Odon 10th. Brett has now recovered to 11th, so going pretty well now. Setting decent lap times without setting the world on fire. Brett has eaten his front left tyre. I mean, the spin won't have helped, but oh, that tyre is not going to make it to the end, is it? That's in even worse shape than Royston's. Although Royston's is not looking so hot. Ah, we've got a bid. Aaron bids £8,000. Do I have an answer? 8,000. 8,000. Anyone? 8,000. 8,000. 8,000. 8,500. No. Okay, 8,000. To be fair, I think it's I think you're probably all right with that. That'll buy you another wheel, right? Oh, we've got Tom making the move on Glen once again. I'm sure Glen thought he'd seen the last of this after Tom overtook him, but he's back. Just shows the nose, forces Glen a little bit defensive. Is he going to get him this time? Not this time. Aaron says, I really enjoy watching Tom struggle. Yeah, but all this gives him is more practice for tomorrow night. That's the problem. I will say though, Glen and Andy are doing a fantastic job. They're on the same tyre. I know Tom's in a different car, but they're doing a really good job of battling and keeping him at bay here. It's a good showing from the GT2 boys. So I've got 246 and a double-decker. Ooh, to be fair, a double-decker is worth a lot, isn't it? I love a double-decker. I've actually been on the Star bars recently. They're fantastic. Well, I did have a relapse and had a Twix extra this afternoon, to be fair. Purple lap, sector 1 from Andy, as he chases down Joe Burns. He is in the party questioning how anyone picked the Nissan. I've won races and set some fastest laps in the Nissan, so it's not a bad car. I don't think it's wildly suited to this track. I think there's a few too many straight sections. And the Nissan's really good round, like, quite long, mid-range corners. You get a lot of turning and you get a lot of exit speed off it. Maybe not quite so good on the sharp hairpins that you find here. And he is looking down the inside of Joe Burns, perhaps. He's really, really close. Aaron, what's my thoughts on Aladdin being famously low? I must have missed some earlier comment. Oh, he's saying the luck of Aladdin. I mean, he did find a magic lamp. I mean, how much more lucky do you want to get? He also got to spend a lot of time with Robin Williams, and yeah, we'd give anything for that, wouldn't we? Right, what's going on in the race? James is in the lead. How is James? Does anyone know how James got in the lead? I was thinking about magic lamps. He's in the lead by a second, so something's happened to Royston, and Royston's under a lot of pressure now from Oblivion. And I think, yeah, this is Oblivion's tyres costing him. Royston's tyres costing him. Oblivion's aren't much better, but they are in better shape. And Royston's going to be really, really careful because he's got another 3.5 laps to do on those tyres. I think this is maybe an indicator and where this may benefit some of the other drivers, because if they can get the information, so if your teammates are out there, get them the information, you're going to have to look after your soft tyres. Because I think we've got a few people here, Royston, maybe even Oblivion, and certainly Bread, who's now... Oh, he's pitted. Yeah, well, that might actually be a smart move from Bread. Because once those tyres go fully red, that's it. You can't drive the car. So pitting now and getting some fresh air and some fresh tyres might actually get him a couple of positions at the end of the race. He's certainly going to go after Graham, who's currently in P14. I don't see how Royston's going to be able to look after those tyres enough, and a pit stop, unfortunately, is going to be necessary, but it is going to kill his race. He's going to end up probably in about P9 or P10 if and when he pits. Oblivion might just be able to hang on. Aaron's back in the chat calling 6-year-olds naughty names. Andy and Joe Burns are having an almighty battle here, and maybe they should think about not having that for a couple of laps, because the way the two ahead of them are going, they're going to get caught soon. But I can almost guarantee Andy's going to think about a look here into the chicane. He does think about it at least, but then backs off. He might get a good run out though, clatters it across the curb. Still 3/10 back. Joe Burns is now within a second of Oblivion. Royston's pulled out a little more of a gap, but the tyres are looking very nasty. Oh, be very, very careful around these right-handers, please, Royston. James is gone, he's away. Oblivion trying to keep up with Royston, probably trying to save his tyres more than anything. Under serious threat from the cars behind him, Joe Burns, Andy, and of course, T. Smith. I think, but for James, Aaron's 8 grand might be slightly under threat, because Tom's coming back here. Set a 1:45.7 on the mediums on the last lap. Fastest lap of the race, 1:45 dead from Royston. But those times are long gone for him. He's got to be going at least a couple of seconds a lap slower. He's gonna try and drag his tyres out to the end, I think. I'm not sure. I know he wants to hang on to P2. I'm not sure that's the best call. And in the background, it's Joe Burns, it's Andy, it's T. Smith in the background waiting for the opportunity. Andy's going to challenge down the inside into turn 1. And oh, Joe's holding on, is he? No, he's been bumped wide. And here comes Tom. Oh, Joe Burns has lost out. He's lost 2 places. And now T. Smith all over the back of Andy. Oh, this is a ridiculous race. Oh, up front we've got Royston and Oblivion going at it as well. They've held off. T. Smith takes P4. Tom takes P4. And now he's going to be able to get after the soft tyre runners. James is gone. He's clear. He's on for his first win of the season. Can he hold on? It's going to gain him some valuable points over Andy as well, who's struggling to hold on to P5, and he's got a half-second penalty. Oh, he must have run wide at the previous corner. He's got a half-second penalty that's going to drop him down into P6. Oh, and Oblivion's got a penalty as well. That's going to give Royston a little bit of breathing room, and it's going to send Tom into a podium position. God damn it. Oh, Royston's got a slither. He's got to be so careful. Oh, he's run wide. He's running wide. I mean, Tom's going to take P2 now, without a shadow of a doubt. Royston, oh, what does he do? He's got the tiniest bit of tyre left. If he pits now, he's going to lose 7 or 8 positions. If he doesn't, he may run out of tyre before the end. Just take it easy. Yeah. He's just going to have to let Tom go. He wants to try and hold on to a podium here, does Royce? He doesn't want to challenge around this right-hander. He does not want to challenge this and use up his tyres. Yeah, he's just going to take it easy. Oblivion's tyres are nearly gone as well, but Oblivion is challenging Royston as well. Royston got forced a little bit wide there with Tom overtaking him, and Oblivion takes P3. Problem is, I don't think Royston can afford to battle. Biggles has no idea how Andy stayed in front of Joe. I don't know either. Joe's been challenging for about 4 laps now. Derek is P7, Glen is P8. We're on the final lap of the race. Pagani is in 9th, Odon 10. Nobby has done a fantastic job to recover to P11. Dom is in 12th, Sir Goose is 13th, Graham is 14th, and Brett is still in 15th, closing in, and Brett has set the fastest lap, but he had a moment on the previous lap, the 1:47.2, which has dropped him back down to last. James is 6 seconds clear, T. Smith is now in P2, Oblivion P3, Royston P4 with Andy all over the back of him. Royston's really, really struggling now. Oh, Joe Burns has got a penalty. So you would think Andy is going to be able to get Royston here at some point in the final few corners. And in fact, it's going to happen this corner because Royston can barely make the turn. Joe Burns would be able to overtake him as well, but he's going to drop back again with that half-second penalty. Is that going to bring Derek into it? Probably not. Derek may be slightly too far back. But it is going to be, you would think, as long as he doesn't drop it here. Jesus Christ, James. Push it to the edge, why don't you? Jadon coming round the final couple of corners for what will be his first win of the season in GT2 and valuable points over his title rivals. Although Andy has made his way up into P3 ahead of Oblivion. So Jadon takes the win, T. Smith in P2, Andy will be P3, Oblivion P4. Royston is still holding off Joe Burns. Joe's going to get him on the final corner as Royston's tyres are dying. Ah, and here comes Derek. Is Derek going to make it as well? No, he's not. Royston hangs on. Fantastic job by Royston. He even hang on to P6 there. Derek P7, Glen is in 8th, Pagani finishes in 9th, Odon is going to come through in P10, a good recovery drive from Nobby Norris for P11. Zom in 12th, Sir Goose 13th, Graham 14th, and Brett in P15 after his earlier adventures. And the pit stop. I don't think Brett had a choice, to be fair. He wouldn't have made it round. Whew. So that's race 1 in the books. First win of the season for James on the medium tyres as well. Well, everybody's having a nice, chilled out time in the pits, waiting for race 2. I was busy messaging my team members, telling them to, for God's sake, look after the soft tyres. I suggest you all do the same. And that's a valuable lesson for me for tomorrow's race as well. Good evening, unsafe release. What have you missed? You've missed a Jadon win. And you've missed T. Smith nearly costing Aaron $8,000. But not quite, thanks to James not bottling it. A relatively incident-free race 1 as well. There were a couple of accidents, but maybe, should we say, not as many as we perhaps expected. We'll probably see a lot more death in race 3, to be fair, so don't worry. Right, here we go. Race 2. We have got James starting again on the medium tyres, but Andy right behind him starting on the softs. Oblivion on the mediums, Joe on the mediums, as is Royston. Derek in P6 has gone for the soft tyres, and so has Zom in P10. So look out for a flying Zom, as usual. As we get away from race 2, there's a lot of movement off the line. Somebody got a very slow start, I think it was Royston. And Andy is immediately looking left and right to try and challenge James to P1. So we're all away smoothly. And these two particularly smoothly. And Andy is not giving this up. Let's go on board. He's off to the outside. Oh, and a little bit of contact. They're okay. You can see Joe Burns in the mirror behind getting closer though. He's right on Andy's tail now. So these three battling for the lead. Derek in P4. Glen in 5th. Odon is 6th but has a penalty already. Oblivion now P7. He's been shuffled back a little bit. Nobby is now 9th. Behind Royston. And battling with Zom on the soft tyres, and Zom has braked very late. Is trying to go all the way around the outside of Nobby Norris. Nobby's got a decent drive off the corner, but Zom is ahead. There's a little bit of bashing of doors. Zom does take the position. Oh, and Royston, whoa, and everybody's trying to go around Odol as he serves his penalty. And there's a lot of cars trying to be in one place there. Everybody survives though. Whoa, Nobby, a little bit sideways. It's going to open the door for Owen again. And he takes full advantage. Nobby back down to P10. Sergius in 11th, Graham in 12th, T. Smith in 13th. Fortunately, because obviously coming down from GT1 to racing this, T. Smith gets relegated back to the rear of the pack for the start. And no, Brett is off the back again. Oh dear. Well, still plenty of time to catch up. And Andy now does have the lead. And oh, James has a half-second penalty. And if he can't get a bit more clear of the pack in the next half a lap, that's going to cost him dearly. Beach says Candy's got this one. That's a great new name for Andy. I'm going to start calling him that. Bill says Andy P1, time to tiptoe on the soft tyres. He doesn't really have the choice at the minute, because James is still challenging him. I think in an ideal world, for James, he's going to want to force him into a penalty of his own, but I don't think he's going to get that, and he's going to suffer here. He's probably going to drop back behind Joe, and maybe even behind Derek as well. Derek running on the soft tyres, so we'll keep an eye on him for a second. He's all over the back of Joe. Can he look for a late move? Not this time. He's got to stick nice and wide, try and get a run up the hill. He had to just let off the throttle a little bit. There comes James's penalty. And through goes Joe, and through goes Derek. So James down to P4. As I try and wrestle control of the camera. Oh, the traction control working overtime on Derek's car there as he tried to get out of that corner. And James is having a look down the inside. It's a bold move into that corner. He just backs out. And he's pulled out a tremendous lead. Nearly 2 seconds already. Interesting choice from these guys. From Joe. Joe wasn't in the softs first race. So, despite the fact they started relatively near the point, near the front, as James has another look at Derek. Joe and James choosing to go on the medium tyres again, which means, assuming they can hold these sorts of positions, they'll be starting quite near the back in race 3 on the soft tyres. So that'll be an interesting one to see. Oblivion P5 now, he's worked his way back up slightly. Just ahead of Glen. Glen's pretty close, but not close enough for a move. And Zom finds himself in P7, so Zom making good use of the softs. Was that another penalty for Oblivion? It was, and it's a full second. Ooh, that's going to cost him. Oh, it's all over the place coming out of that corner as well. It's interesting to see who does and doesn't use traction control in GT2. So Oblivion serving that penalty is going to cost him 2 positions. Zom goes through along with Glen. Odon in P8, just ahead of Graham and Royston. He is having a look, but couldn't quite make it. Graham running the medium tyres this race. Nobby Norris finds himself battling with Pagani and T. Smith, which I'm sure is a position he's absolutely loving. Go on, Nobby. Stick it to the big boys. Oh no, Pagani's got him. Keep going, Nobby. You can murder T. Smith if you believe in yourself. Oh, he's overtaken him again! Go on, Nobby! Nobby's got Pagani again. T. Smith's overtaking him as well. Brett is in the mix too. Oh, you'd love to see it. Nobby Norris with the overtake on Pagani. And he's holding the GT1 drivers at bay. I don't care they're on different tyres. We don't pay any attention to that. Nobby goes defensive. Nicely done. Go on, Nobby. I have no idea what's going on at the front. I don't care. We're watching this for now. It's the battle of the century. Tom's going to look down the inside now. Nobby's stuck to the outside. He's not going defensive. He's held on. Oh, Pagani's been bundled into the wall. Brett escapes. I'm not sure quite what happened there. We didn't quite see it. All I saw was Pagani ending up in the wall in front of the camera. And in the meantime, Nobby Norris is still holding on from T. Smith. If he can make it a whole lap, I'll buy him a pint next time I see him. Tom's all over. He's left and right looking for a way through. He can't find it yet. There's a bit of action further up. Odon, Royston and Graham. Royston's made his way up into P9. Fever's asking for a VAR review. We don't care. We're only interested in this battle at the moment. Is he going to make it a full lap? Holding off Tom and Pagani. Yes, he is. Go on, Nobby. I don't know where Sir Goose is going. Fantastic stuff. We love it. Alright, Andy's 4.5 seconds clear and it's set at 1:44. Okay. I don't think that counts as looking after the tyres, but yeah, they're in better state than Derek's, to be fair. James is holding on to P3 at the minute, ahead of Joe and Glen. And then Oblivion is back in Was Oblivion in P6 before? I think he's gained a position at some point. Oh, Phoebe's not enjoying my disrespect of VAR. Alright, Anthony Taylor, calm down. Odon under threat from Royston. Royston looks to have the edge here coming out of the corner. Is he going to be able to make the move? Odon's cut him off. That's going to cost him a bit of time. See if Graham can catch up. This is the story of race 2. Nobby Norris is holding off T. Smith for a second successive lap. Oh, Brett's sideways. Oh no. Oh dear, it's not been a happy return to FTRL so far for the American. He will probably now be on pole for race 3. So, at least he's got that to look forward to. Pole position at the minute. And he's maintaining that gap. 4.5 seconds, probably looking after the tyres now. Oh, Derek is not going to have a good time come the end of this race. So I think we are quite possibly looking at a position up for probably all of these guys that are following, because Derek's tyres are half worn and it's not even the end of lap 6. Oh, can hear some tyre squealing going on in the background. Oblivion is trying to look for a way past Glen. Aaron says Tom's been reset. Oh Lord, celebrate good times, come on. Bum 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 bum. Woohoo! Mikey, good evening and happy birthday. You've received the perfect birthday present just as you've logged on. Tom's been reset and it's in P13. Oh no, Nobby! What's happened to Nobby Norris? No. Oh, I think Tom's punted him off. Justice for Nobby. Derek's actually closing in slightly on Andy, but it's going to be at the cost of his front left tyres, so... Aaron says Tom's doing his best job at replacing Mikey. Well, he's not, because he's not P11, he's P13. That's frankly not good enough. He's just going for... he's just going for... I know, I was going to say he's going for the reverse grid, but he won't get it, will he? Yeah, Andy, the gap's dropped slightly, but Derek's killing his left tyre, front left tyre, so not only that, he's losing time already to James, so James is going to get himself into P2 here. I don't think he can do anything about Andy, but he did gain 2 points on Andy in the first race, and he's only going to lose 1 here if he does get P2, so it's still a point gained overall. It's not really enough, but there's not, the gap between them is a lot more than that. I think we're talking, what are we talking, 20 something points. Yeah, 24 points is the gap in the championship at the minute. So gaining 1 point isn't going to do a huge amount at the minute, but there's not much you can do about that, especially in the sprint races with 1 point per position. If the other guy doesn't have a complete balls up, you're not going to gain that much. So James is doing all he can. What about the teams? What about the teams? I mean, Team Tom's and Mongs are having a good race. Or no Mongs, sorry, Tom and no Mongs. We're having a good race. We've got currently P1, P6, and where's the other one? Oh, it's Bread, isn't it? So Bread's in P15. So a bit of a mix there. Playmates had a very good race one, but it's a bit more mixed this time out. Because James is in P2, but Nobby and Royston P9 and P14. So what we really want to see is a little bit of failure from the doctors so that everybody else can catch them up a little bit. But unfortunately, they're doing all right, apart from Tom. Oblivion is looking to make a move here. Andre Burns. They are side by side. Oblivion's got the inside line though. Hits the brakes and he should get this move done. He does indeed. So Oblivion now P4. Glen not far behind either. Derek now third and hanging on to James's coattails here. What's happened to Royston? Not Royston. Whose tyres were knackered? Derek. Derek's still going, but he's not going to make it. Derek, I'm afraid you're going to have to pit, mate. It's not going to work. Those tyres are worse than I think anybody's in race 1. So unfortunately, Derek is going to have to pit or suffer the consequences. That's going to drop him back quite a way. What we really want to look at is Andy and the condition of his tyres. He's 2.8 seconds clear of James. It's not a whole lot. This might not be over with 3.5 laps to go. He's going to have to take it easy round basically every right hand turn if he wants those tyres to last to the end. And every time he has to do that, James is going to cut a couple of tenths out of that lead. And a swap in positions here could, maybe, come the end of the season, have big ramifications. Oblivion now into P3 as he overtakes Derek on his ailing tyres. Joe Burns looking interested as well. A bit further back, Graham's going one in P7. O'Donnell in 8th, Royston in 9th. Then comes Sergio, who's closely followed by his teammate Pagani. Pagani probably won't be trying too hard to make any moves on Sergio. T. Smith P12. He's getting closer to that P11 that he needs. Nobby 13th, so I'm in 14th, and Brett is gaining. Oh, Zom has pitted. So Zom has pitted. Phoebe wants to know, is Andy on wheel? I don't know. Let's have a look at his steering wheel for a while and see. It really looks like he is, yes. You'll find out here. Really? If he's on pad, that is super smooth. Which probably explains why he's able to keep a hold of those tyres. I say keep a hold of them. Ugh. It's not ideal, is it? And the gap's down to 2.3 seconds. Oh wow. Well, colour me impressed. Because I do not know how somebody drives like this on a pad. There's no jerkiness of movement of the wheel. It's nice and smooth. I don't know how anybody manages that, to be honest. He's holding the gap at the minute, but those tyres are getting worse and worse. Derek is now down to P6 and honestly has to pit, or he's going to end up in last. Big Gus's getting worried in the chat, thinks he needs to do some laps on the softs. I have to do some laps full stop, to be honest, mate. I've not touched it. Derek, you have to pit. Graham's going to make the move down the inside. Derek can do nothing about it. He's got to pit. His last lap was a 1:48.9. He's not going to be able to drive the final lap of the race. Oh, T. Smith's getting closer to that magical P11. So Goose is not going particularly quickly. I think if Mikey had a magic lamp and one wish, it would be for T. Smith to take P11 for him in this race. The gap is 1.4 at the front. And he's trying to hang on, but he's got to look after that front left. He's done probably a better job than anyone else we've seen tonight so far. But in all honesty, it's going to be very, very close, isn't it? And Oblivion's not that far away as well. If we end up with a bit of a final lap battle, Oblivion could buy into this as Glen looks interested in P4. Joe's a little wide, and here's Glen on the outside. It's nice and tight to the curb. In fact, he may be on the grass a little bit. He's just lost a bit of time coming out there. So this battle will go to the final lap of the race. Both of these guys on medium tyres, so no tyre concerns, although Glen's are considerably fresher than Joe's. So that'll be an interesting battle as we head on to the final lap. The gap is just under a second. James is going to have to really go for it around this corner, and if he does, he might be able to get in slipstream range for the run up the hill, and he's getting close. I think Andy's just held him outside. But James has now managed to make it in slipstream range, which is going to gain him a little bit more. Can Andy hang on? It looks like the tyres are just about going to make it, but he's not going to be fast. James is going to be a lot faster, and he's giving it everything. What can he do? The gap is now 0.3 of a second. Quarter of a second, 0.2 of a second. He's got a few more corners to make this move. He's gone in a little hot there. Oblivion's still in the background as well, so he doesn't want to make it too difficult if he can help it. There's only a few more corners to go, and he's doing a fantastic job of trying to hang on. James is going to go to the outside here and try and get a cut back and a good run. He does indeed cut back. Oblivion is super close. Here he goes. He's going to have to go round the outside, and he's defending for his life. You never know, this could make the difference to the championship. 2 more corners to go. Can he find a way through? He's going to have to either defend it or hope for a good run off the final corner. Andy's tyres are almost dead. The last one is going to be a right-hander. James cuts to the outside. Andy's going to cover off the inside. Oh, that's contact. He's cut to the inside. It's going to be a race to the line for the win. Here he comes. Oh, it's so close. Andy's going to hang on. Oh, he's done it. He's done it. 15 thousandths of a second. Jade on in P2. Brilliant work from Andy. It can be done on the soft tyres. Oblivion P3, less than 0.2 separates the podium. Glen P4, Graham in 5th, just ahead of Joe Burns by 26 thousandths. Odon P7, Royston, good drive for P8, Pagani in 9th. Derek on his dead tyres all the way back to P10. P11, he's done it! T. Smith's done it. Somebody died, and Tom has managed to claim P11. Happy birthday to you, Mikey. So Goose in 12th, Nobby Norris 13th. Zom, I believe, was 14th, and then Bread was 15th, I think. Let's just check the results for that one. Yep, Zom 14th, Bread 15th. So Bread and Zom will be on the front row for race 3. I'm not really sure how Andy held on to that win. So yeah, some really, really close battles there. 22 thousandths in the end, separating P1 and P2. 19 thousandths separating Graham in P5 and Joe in P6. Whew. We've got Jamie McElreevy in the chat. Good evening. Hope you're well. Good to have you back. In the race chat, Owen wants to know if Derek got a puncture. Pretty much, yeah. I don't know if I've just cut back to the menu screen here because if you haven't noticed, just take a look at the car I've been driving. That's all I'll say. Just take a look at the car I've been driving. Right. We have got an extremely interesting mix on our hands. We are going to have multiple people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers on soft tyres, most of them starting towards the back of the pack. And then we've got the rest of these guys on mediums, mixed with a spattering of GT1 drivers on hard tyres. Are you alright, Fever? So yeah, God only knows what's going to happen here. I'd really love to get some predictions in here. I would really, really like to see who you think is going to win this, because I have no idea. Obviously, the GT1 guys will still be starting at the back. I think quite a few of them have used their medium tyre allocation, including Tom and Graham. So they're definitely on the hard tyres. I think Pagani might be on the mediums. He is indeed. So that could be interesting. As for the rest of them, let's start from the top. Glen's on softs. Odon's on softs. Joe Burns is on softs. Nobby is on softs, starting pretty near the front. Goose is on softs. And James is on softs, and he'll be starting obviously right at the back, ahead of the GT1 drivers, but alongside Andy. So, who knows? Who the f knows? Alright, here we go. Brad is going to lead us out, I hope, and I think we all hope that he has better luck this time out. He's had a couple of incidents, but he will be starting in pole, so if he gets to turn 1 ahead of Zom, he may be in for a better race. Let's see. Lights are out and away we go. Good start from Brad. Oh, and somebody in the background was very, very slow starting. I think it might have been James. Brad is going to lead us into turn 1 ahead of Zom and Nobby Norris. And somebody up the inside is... Oh my god, it's carnage. We've got a lot of people wide. There's going to be some penalties there, I think. But we've ended up with Brad leading by 1.3 seconds and then Nobby and Zom side by side and bumping doors as we come up the hill. There's no room for so good to get through, and everybody is all over the place in the background. We've got Joe Burns, we've got Glen, we've got Owen, we've got Derek, and they're all clustered together, and we are heading into the chicane, and this is going to be an absolute fucking nightmare. Oh my goodness. There's got to be some death. Oh my god, everyone's made it through! Oh no, James and Graham. I've gone off. Oh, everyone nearly made it through. Goose apparently did his best Top Gun impression into turn 1 and is squealing his tyres around this corner as well, making full use of the soft tyres. He's up into P2. Nobby has now been relegated to P3 with Zom and Glen behind them. So that is Brad in the lead on the mediums, but by 1.7 seconds, and he'll look to hold these guys off for as long as possible, but Goose has got decent pace and is already off up the road after him. So not an ideal start for Graham, not an ideal start for Jadon. Andy's in P13, Oblivion 12th, and then comes T Smith. He's clinging on to that P11, that's what we want. Joe Burns P10, then Pagani, then Derek, and then Royston in P7, Odon, Glen, Zom, Nobby, Goose, and coming around to finish the first lap of the race is Brad. Ooh, Nobby getting a bit sideways. I will forever remember the race a couple of seasons ago where Nobby managed to pit himself here. That was tremendous. Glen has overtaken Zom, but might not be for long because he got a bit squirrely coming out of that corner. And Zom is now looking very interested in taking that place back. He's only a tenth behind. He's got the run and the slipstream up the hill. He's on the harder tyre compound, so if he wants to make a move, it may have to be now. Odon is left and right out the corner trying to look for a way through. Zom ends up going defensive. And that gives Glen a clear run out. So I think Glen is one to watch here. Probably got the pace advantage over Nobby and Goose in front of him. And obviously Brad on the medium tyres, they'll have a chance to start catching him up. Okay, Graham has dropped a bit further off the back on the hard tyres, but James on the softs is catching back up to the back of Andy. Oh, Tom has lost his P11 to Oblivion. Come on, Tom. Sort it out. I can't imagine the hard tyres are very much fun around here, to be fair. Oh, we got Pagani on the mediums, looking interested in a move on Royston. Leave him alone, Pagani. Royston holding on for now. Oh yeah, Pagani is left and right, doing everything he can to put Royston off, but he's very wide on that corner. But Royston ends up going wide himself, and now they're side by side. It looks like Pagani's got the move done. Not quite, not yet. He will have the inside line, turn 1. Let's see what Royston can do. They both hit the brakes at the same time. Royston's trying to hold it all the way around the outside. Pagani's got it done though, and Joe Burns is looking interested as well. Royston's slipping back down the order. Pagani's helping his teammate out there as Joe takes P8. Oh, it's alright everyone. Tom's back in P11. James is still P14. Andy has not made much progress ahead of him, and he's also got a penalty. And just heading onto the grass on the straight for some reason. Just fancied a bit more of a challenge going into chicane, some dirty tyres. And he is going a bit wide. Woo! It's alright, he's got it done. A few penalties sprinkled throughout the pack at the minute. Odon is another one. He's going to suffer from that. He's certainly going to drop behind Joe. He's making good progress, Joe, on the soft tyres. So Odin up the hill, pulls to... No, he doesn't pull to the side. He stays on the racing line. Just so his half-second penalty. Joe overtakes him anyway. And that's only cost Odin one place, so not too much damage done. And he's doing a very good job of looking after those softs, his own. So he might be one to watch for later. What's Bread's lead? 1.2 seconds over Sir Goose. Nobby's still there as well. And then comes Glen. Let's see what the lap times are looking like. Bread 1:45.5. Goose 1:45.3. Nobby 1:45.4. And Glen, so all roughly even. Glen maybe slightly slower. And tyre wear between the three of these soft tyre runners is pretty similar as well. Zom is mixing it in with Pagani and Joe Burns. Joe going purple through sector 1. Odon's there as well on the softs. Right, James has overtaken Andy. I know these guys are fairly far down the order, but this is obviously the top of the table battle as far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned. As James tries to go all the way around the outside of T. Smith. Tom's cut him off. He's cut onto the grass doing so. James just got to be careful in trying to overtake him. He doesn't let Andy through. Tom's forming a very effective roadblock, and here comes Andy. Oh, and there's a bit of contact. They're both sideways. Tom does not want to give up that P11, as you would expect. He's doing it for Mikey. Andy and James are now side by side, coming into the tight right-hander. James has been pushed a little wide. He'll be lucky to get away without a penalty. But now he's got the inside line. I think he has got away with it. Oh, and Andy's in the wall. There's a little bit of contact there, side by side. Andy goes into the wall, drops back behind. Derek's P14. Graham not far behind, but he does have a penalty. Back at the front, Brett has a 1.1 second lead over Sir Goose. Nobby Norris is a second further back in P3, and Glen is not too far back either. So all looking very interesting up front as far as tyres go. Glen slightly the worse. Nobby slightly better, and Goose roughly even. Goose has a half-second penalty. So that is going to give Brett a bit more breathing room. Oh, 1.5 second penalty for Sir Goose. Oh, that's going to really ruin him. He's going to drop behind Nobby. He may even drop behind Glen, losing that much time on the penalty. Oh, that's horrible. He's racked up a series of 2 penalties there. That's going to kill him. Getting some love in the chat for Bread still leading the race. Let's see what happens here. Sir Goose. Oh, there's some tyre squealing going on in the background. I think it was Pagani. Sir Goose is down to P3, but he may... Is he going to hold on from Glen? No. So he has indeed lost 2 places there due to that penalty. Nobby Norris up to P2. Bread still in the lead. Nobby's going to have to try really, really hard now to look after his tyres. I'm now getting repeat comments up on my screen from earlier in the stream, which means I have to read about Aaron moaning about his cousin again for some reason. Come on, Nobby. Smooth as you can. Absolute tiptoe around the corner. No, I can hear tyre squealing. Stop it, Nobby. Red lead is now 2.3 seconds. Glen's in P3, so he's back to P4. Pagani's looking pretty interested here. With everyone ahead of him except Bread running on the soft tyres, you could see a podium finish for Pagani here, at least. And to be honest, he's only 6 seconds behind Bread, and he's running roughly 6 or 7 tenths faster per lap, so I wouldn't actually rule Pagani out of a win here. Ode on P6 together with his teammate Oblivion in 7th. Zom now 8th, Joe Burns then Royston, and then Jadon now has taken Tom's beloved P11 away from him. Shame on you, James. James' tyres looking really, really good. Better than anyone's I've seen. So he did not have the ideal start to the race, and then he had to battle with Andy and Tom, but he's now in P11, and he now is maybe able to slightly push on. He's done an unbelievable job on those tyres. I didn't know he had it in him. He's probably going to do something stupid like pit now. But anyway, he's not far back from his teammate Royston, who I think Royston probably knows that James is on the soft tyres, so he'd probably give him a fairly easy pass through. James closing in with every corner. He's got quite a few cars ahead of him. This is his chance. Oh, we've got someone in the pits. Who's in the pits? So two people. Nobby's in the pits and Goose are in the pits as well. So Nobby has actually pitted. James, thank God, has carried on. So Nobby's going to come out in P14. But he will be on fresh softs. So as everybody else is, there's a lot of soft tyre runners, so as they degrade, may give Nobby a chance to get back in it, but I'm not sure. He's pitted from P2 there, I think. Or P3 maybe. I'm not sure if that was the call. And he would have been marginal on tyres, but I don't know if that was the call. Same for Sir Goose. So Red, that means now it has a 4.7 second lead, and Glen is, Glen's tyres are going to die. He was certainly the worst out of the three of them. And just over halfway, that front left is already on its way to being dead. So Pagani is certainly going to take P2 shortly. Glen is going to have to pit, no doubt about that. There won't be anything you can do about Pagani. Glen needs to think about pitting and seeing what he can do for the final few laps of the race. Unfortunately for him, I don't think he has any other choice. Ooh, oh dear. Odo was a little wide there, and his teammate Oblivion takes P4 off him. Glen's got to pit, surely. Oh no, he's carrying on. That's disastrous news for him. Oh, James is flying now. He's already up to P7. He's passed a load of cars when we haven't been looking. And he's already up to P7 and challenging on for P6. He's going to be able to push a little bit more now. The job he's done on saving those tyres. He's going to be able to push on. And now, P6. And perhaps the opportunity to hunt down the cars ahead of him. Let's see where the boys that have pitted has come out. Joe Burns is now coming out of the pits as well. He's maybe a bit too far behind to make any difference now. Yeah, this has not really worked out. I think the only places these guys are going to gain are on the any more soft runners who have stayed out and are going to lose their tyres. And of all of these, I think that is only Glen. Well, Beach says, his goose is cooked. Yeah. Absolutely, and I applaud the dad joke, well done. Absolutely. Ooh, Bread was a little bit wide there. I think he's okay. Yep. So the gap is 4 seconds. Let's have a look at the lap times. 1:46.2 for Bread. 1:45.2 for Pagani. So he's 4 seconds behind, 4 laps to go, and he gained a second on that lap. That could be interesting come the final lap. Oh, Glen, it's not going to happen, mate. I'm sorry. It is not going to happen. And the longer you stay on those tyres, the more time you're going to lose. However, to be honest, we've seen it. If he pits now, he's going to be close to last. And with no time to make it up, so what do you do? What it does mean is that Oblivion, despite his half-second penalty, is going to inherit P3 relatively soon. And he's had a really good, nice racing. He really has. Fat Dane! Dane's in the chat. Good evening. How are you, sir? Good to have you in. You're a little bit late, I'll be honest. You're going to catch the last 3.5 laps of the final race, but nonetheless, it's great to have you here. So James is still P6, 2 seconds behind Odon. James is starting to eat into his tyres now. He's roughly similar to Owen on tyre wear. These guys will get to the end, but probably going to have to think about just easing up a little bit now. They're going to get the place off Glen, I can tell you that right now. I mean, I honestly don't know what you do now if you're Glen. Do you pit and just drop to the back of the pack, or do you just carry on dead tyres and see if you can just at least eke a couple more positions out? He's going to carry on. I think he's going to have to carry on, but he's going to be doing like 3 laps on dead tyres. He's already got Oblivion closing in. This is not going to take long. Oh, and in the meantime, Bread has thrown in a 46.4 and Pagani has put a 45.1. And this is going to be a battle for the win before the end of the race, I would think. Bread is going a lot slower, Pagani is not. And the gap's now already 2 seconds. That was 3.5 seconds this time last lap. Oh, Glen's got a second penalty just to add to his tyre woes. He's already dropped behind Oblivion. He's had some dramas at the chicane. Now he's holding Owen up as Owen tries to get through. His tyres are absolutely gone. He's got a penalty to serve. That's going to be good news for Jadon because it's going to let him through with no dramas into P5. And he's done a good job of keeping pace and limiting the damage because he's only 1 place behind James. So Andy's doing what he needs to do here. He's going to drop a couple of points overall if it stays like this, as Glen serves his penalty and cuts right in front of James to do so. He's not going to make it to the corner ahead of Andy. He doesn't want to hold his teammate up anyway. So yeah, Andy's doing what he needs to do. He's dropped a couple of points, but with that lead he's got in the championship, he'll be okay, I think, with this evening's work. There was a point, especially in the first race, and I think at times in race 3, where he was in danger of dropping 4, 5, 6 points. And that doesn't look like it's going to happen now. So good news for Andy. He's driven well tonight. Tom's in P8. Derek just behind him in P9. Oh, and there finally is Glen into the pits. Probably about 2 laps too late, to be honest, but never mind. He's getting the tyres on. Let's see where he comes out. It just takes a while to get out of this pit lane, that's the problem. You can see, here comes the goose down the start-finish straight. Glen's still going down the pit lane. Joe Burns is going to come through. He's still going down the pit lane. Oh, it just takes an absolute age, doesn't it? And then you've actually got to get out of the pit lane. And Glen, unfortunately, with 2 laps to go, comes out in last position. Oh, the gap at the front is now 7/10. Brett's going to have to do some serious defending to stop Pagani taking a win here. Oblivion in a comfortable P3. Odon not as comfortable in P4, because although he's done an unbelievable job of managing his tyres, James is now closing in. That's a phenomenal job from him, it really is. It's gone a bit wide on that corner, but in all honesty, to have that much of the front left remaining, or was Andy? Andy is now challenging James as James's tyres are dying. This could be crucial. But yeah, to have that much of your tyre left at this stage in the race, fantastic job. And that may well help him to P4, especially if these two start battling. Didn't really consider this before because James was doing a good job on his tyres and he started to push, and now it's just burned them up massively. And now he's going to have to fight for his life on the final lap, stay ahead of Andy. He is still closing in though. I mean, maybe taking it a bit too easy. He needs to start pushing on this final lap. He's okay with his tyres now. The gap is 7/10, and then the gap behind is 3/10. That'll be spicy going into the final lap. Bread has, oh dear, he's given up the ghost, unfortunately. Pagani is through, so no redemption win for Bread. Pagani's going to take the win, but still P2. Bread will be happy with that, I think, after his 2 P15s earlier in the evening. Oblivion in P3, but here is the battle. Owen in P4, Andy in P5. He's got ahead of James up the hill. So Andy's got into P5. He's going to try and get ahead of James and claim the podium as well, and that will really get him a good points gain in the Drivers' Championship. I don't think there's anything James can do about it. I think his tyres are gone. His only hope now is some sort of penalty, or for Andy and Odon to start battling. Yeah, you see just how much trouble James is having to keep up. He just can't keep the pace. Owen's got the tyres to spare. He can afford to push now, but can he hold on to P4? Bit further back, T. Smith P7. Derek is trying to hang on ahead of Royston. He's pushing him all the way. Graham is P10. Nobby Norris is P11. Just Sir Goose in 12th. Joe Burns 13th. Glen, and then Zon has slipped all the way to the back somehow. But can Owen hold on for P4 ahead of Andy? 2 corners to go. Pagani, meanwhile, has come around the final corner to take the win. He takes P1. Bread, good drive from him, P2. Oblivion's got a penalty, but it won't matter. He will take a podium. Good drive from him too. And it is Odon who rounds the final corner in 4th position. Andy will take P5 ahead of Jadon. Those two will finish roughly equal on points for the evening. T. Smith P7, Derek, then Royston, then Graham. Nobby Norris P11. Yep, there he goes. So Goose picking up more penalties, but he's got enough of a gap to stay ahead of Joe Burns, who will finish P13. And Glen, after his really good start, unfortunately had to pit, couldn't make last the distance. P14, and then I don't know what Zom is doing. Sorry, I don't know what happened on lap 11. 2 minutes 11, and he coasts over the line for P15. And there we have it. So our result for race 3. Pagani with the win. Bread, a good P2, a good recovery after his first 2 races. Oblivion in 3rd. Odon, Andy, Jadon, T. Smith, Derek, Royston, Graham, Nobby, Goose, Joe Burns, Glen, and Zom. Right. There we have it. Another fantastic evening of racing here at FTRL. We will, of course, be back tomorrow. GT1. So I desperately need some practice, so I might try and get a little bit in now. But for now, we're going to end it here. So thank you very much for watching. Please do like the stream if you haven't done already. And, of course, join us again tomorrow, 8:30 for GT1. Thank you very much. Good night.